Ever found yourself scrolling through online casinos, maybe seeing a flashy new one pop up, and just wondered, okay, who really runs this thing?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Because you see the brand, the name, the logo, right?
Yeah.
But chances are the actual operator behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It's someone completely different.
Right. There's this whole hidden structure, isn't there, powering a massive chunk of the online gambling scene.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, based on our sources.
Yeah.
This sort of secret world of white label casinos.
Okay, so white label. Break that down for us simply.
Think of it like a prepackaged business in a box. A provider, a company, builds the entire online casino platform.
The whole thing.
Everything. They go get the gambling licenses, which is complicated.
Yeah.
They integrate all the slot games, the table games.
Payment systems, too.
Payment systems, yeah, crucial bit. And all that really complex compliance stuff, know your customer checks, anti-money laundering.
Right.
The provider sets all that up.
Wow. Okay, so where does the brand name we see come in? Well, that's the next step. A brand owner, maybe some of the marketing idea or an existing audience comes along and essentially leases this ready-made platform.
Leases it.
Yeah. They just, slap their logo on it, maybe change the colors around, tweak the theme a bit, and bam. Overnight, they've got what looks like their own online casino.
It sounds almost too easy. Like launching a casino seems like it should be harder than just picking colors.
Well, it looks easy because all the really heavy lifting, the complex, regulated stuff, it's already been done by the provider.
Gotcha. So our mission today really is to unpack this hidden model, figure out how it works, who's really pulling the strings.
Exactly. Understanding the layers here, because it's kind of an illusion, and figuring out where the real power sits.
Okay, so let's talk about that power dynamic. You've got the brand owner, the name we see, the one doing the advertising maybe. You'd think they're in charge.
You would think that. But according to the sources we've looked at, they're often just the face, more like a middleman, really.
Just the front.
Pretty much. The real power, the actual control, that almost always stays with the white label provider working behind the curtain.
How so? What do they control specifically?
Well, it's not just the software. They often hold the master gambling license that the brand is operating under. They process every single deposit and withdrawal.
The money flow.
Right. They manage the entire technical back end, the servers, the security, making sure the games actually load and run. And maybe most importantly, they typically keep the vast majority of the revenue generated.
The majority, so the brand owner just gets a slice.
Usually, yeah, a commission or a share, but the provider takes the bulk.
Our sources compared it a bit to franchising, didn't they? Like putting your McDonald's sign on their established system?
Kind of, yeah. It's a useful analogy. But the material also points out some key differences. Potentially less regulation in some cases, maybe more risk for the brand owner than your typical franchise. It's not quite the same safety net.
And the scale of this. This is what gets really interesting. We're not just talking about a few sites.
Oh, no, not at all. What's really wild is that many online casinos you might stumble across aren't unique operations. They could be just one of, potentially hundreds of sites, all running on the exact same white label platform.
Hundreds? Seriously.
Same library of games, same underlying math like the return to player percentages. Sometimes, sources say, even the same customer service agents answering chats for multiple different brands.
Wow. So it's like clones, just wearing different outfits.
Exactly. The source material calls it a wild game of illusion. One provider pulling the strings for a whole fleet of seemingly independent casinos.
So you, as the player, you land on Site A with its cool space theme, and then Site B with a pirate theme. You think they're totally different competitors.
But behind the scenes, you could be playing on the exact same engine, dealing with the same core company, maybe even the same support person if you have an issue. You'd likely never know.
Okay, that's one thing. But the sources highlighted something else, something potentially more concerning, involving influencers.
Yeah, this was a really striking point. Given how easy it is to slap a brand on one of these platforms, some online influencers, streamers, people with big followings, they're launching their own white label casino brands. And then naturally, they promote these sites heavily to their own audience, their fans.
Okay. Promoting your own business, maybe not that weird.
But here's the crucial bit, often not disclosed clearly. Their earnings from the casino are frequently structured as a commission based directly on their followers' net losses.
Wait, say that again? They make money when their followers lose money gambling on their site.
That's often the model, yes.
Yeah.
The more their audience loses, the more the influencer earns. It creates a Pretty problematic incentive structure, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, problematic feels like an understatement. That dynamic is definitely something.
It really is.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, the source material does state that the white label model itself, and even influencers promoting sites this way, can be perfectly legal depending on where you are. The rules vary a lot.
Right. Legality isn't always the whole picture, though, is it?
No. It just really highlights how opaque this whole thing can be. The true business model, who profits from what? Who holds the power? It's often hidden from the player.
Which brings it back to you listening. If you ever played online casinos or even just see the ads, understanding this structure is pretty important.
Yeah, that shiny new casino you saw advertised. It might just be a fresh coat of paint on a platform that's been operating for years, run by a company whose name you've never heard. You're not really playing with brand X.
You're playing with the provider.
They're playing with the provider.
Yeah.
They hold the license, the tech, the purse strings. The brand is often just the marketing layer.
So this hidden world of online gambling, the provider has the power, the brand is the face, it's a setup, our sources found kind of both dangerous and how unclear it can be.
And undeniably fascinating in just how it all works beneath the surface.
Definitely something to think about next time you see one of those sites. Who really is behind that curtain?